Hey everyone, and welcome back to VFXY once again. So in today's video we are going to see how we can use path tracer rendering setting inside Unreal Engine. Yes, today's topic will be a very fantastic and very demanded topic inside Unreal Engine, and hope you will learn something new. So without any delay, let's get started. Okay, as you can see over here, I have my scene setup, and if I'm going to show it to you, I have something like this, and by default my ray tracing is on. And if you want to stop ray tracing, so you have to go to here and you have to select lit. So by default your lit mode will show this, and if you want to use this scene, I will give link in the description. And by the way, this is free sample which you can download from Unreal Engine Marketplace, right? So here this setup is known as vintage room, and I thought this will be a good candidate for showing my path tracing, right? So first thing first, you need to understand what is path tracing. Basically, path tracing is a rendering way or rendering technique which Unreal uses. And if you want to know path tracing in detail, how it works, you have to comment down below so that I can make a detailed video regarding path tracing only. But in this tutorial, I will show you how we can use path tracing only, right? So to enable path tracing, you need to do few things. So you have to go to setting and you need to go to project setting, right? First thing first, you have to type path tracing, right? So under hardware ray tracing, you will get path tracing, and by default it will be switched off. You need to enable it, right? So by enabling it, it might possible it will ask to restart, right? But you don't need to restart because we need to enable few more things. So after enabling path tracing, you need to go and you have to type ray tracing. Under hardware ray tracing, you will get support hardware ray tracing. It might possible it will be switched on by default. If not, then you need to switch it on, and apart from that you need to switch it on path tracing option, right? Because this will enable your path tracing. And before proceeding further, you need to understand that you have to have RTX card inside your PC, or GTX card will be mandatory. I'm not sure it will work on GTX or not, but you need to have RTX card. In my case, I am using RTX card, right? Apart from that, you need to enable few more things, like I need to check DirectX. So by default, it might possible it will be on DirectX 11. If yes, then you need to switch it back to DirectX 12, right? So it's mandatory. After all, you need to restart your Unreal Engine and come back once it's done, right? Okay, after enabling everything, you need to come over here, and it might possible I can go to my camera setup, which is this, and this is by default in lit mode. And if I'm going to go over here and if I'm going to check, I am getting a option called path tracing, right? So if I'm going to enable it, something will happen and path tracing will start rendering. So let it render, and once this is done, I'll come back. Okay, my rendering has been done, and you can see I'm using path tracing and the output is crisp and clear. So to demonstrate it better, I am going to exit my camera angle, and you can easily see my path tracing is rendering in a better way, right? So if you want to control your path tracing settings, you must have an option called post process volume, right? So in post process volume, you will get multiple things, right? If I'm going over here and I'm going to type path tracing, you will have multiple things, right? So I have enabled, but by default it will be switched off. So you need to enable all the options if you want to change. So I'm going to enable it. Over here, I don't want to use denoiser because sometimes denoiser gives you a patchy output. So I'm going to disable it. I'll let you know how to use denoising options, but not in this video, in a different video, right? So here you need to understand max bounces and max sample per pixels, right? So if I'm going to lower down my sample pixels, so what will happen? Suppose that I'm going to use 100, and you can easily see my rendering is happening very quickly over here, but there will be mismatch, like your texture quality won't be that crisp because sample per pixel will control your quality, right? So you can easily see I'm getting a patches. Rendering is happening very fastly, but I'm getting patches. And if I'm going to increase it 2048, so definitely your texture quality will be top notch, right? So let it happen. Once it's done, I'll come back. Okay, so my rendering has been done, and you can easily see how different my outputs are, right? So I think this is it for this scene. And if you want to work on path tracing, but if you are not rendering, so what I'll prefer, probably I'll use 100 because the rendering thing will happen fastly. But in final rendering, I'm going to increase my sample per pixels for sure, right? So here I have my camera setup already, and I'm going to use it, and I will show you how you can render your crisp output with path tracing, right? So I'm going over here and I'm going to add a level sequencer, and the name of the sequencer will be path tracing underscore YT YouTube, and hit save, right? And here I need to add my camera. So I'm going in outliner, and probably I'll type over here Cine Camera Actor, and that camera will be close up 2. So render cam close up 2, and I'm going to drag it over here, right? So after that, what I have to do, I have to animate my camera, right? So already I did that, but if you want to show me, so how I can do, so before here, I'm going to push my timeliner over here, and I'm going to animate my transform like this, and I'm going to put a key before my 00 frame, and I'm going, suppose that I want 72 or 50, 80 frames render. So I'm going over here, and probably I will exit from my camera, and I'm going over here in my camera, and probably I will push my camera little further and little left, and I'm going to rotate it like this. And probably I need to animate my focal point, so I'm going to animate it like manual focus. So probably I'm going over here, and here I'm going to put a key, and in over here, like I'm going probably in frame number 80 or 84 or 82. So same way, I haven't put my key, so I'm going like forward a little. I can see over here if you want, and probably I'll put it left and over here like this, and probably I'll put a key on that frame. So what will happen, my camera will be animated and my focus will be animated as well, like this. Can you see that? If you want to render it, what you have to do, you have to click on this icon and you have to click on unsaved. Obvious, I don't want it in JPG format. I want it in EXR format because it will give me the best possible quality. And also I'm going to delete deferred rendering and I'm going to use path tracing, right? So I'm going over here in path tracing. In output, I'm going to change my rendering thing, like I'm going to enable rendering over here, and I'm going to select it, right? And probably I'll name it like I can name it like path tracing YT. So let me do it, path tracing YT, and I want to render frame like 0 to 80. And apart from that, I'm going to use anti-aliasing. Probably anti-aliasing will be like 6 and 4. You can increase it if you want, and I'm going to enable it. I'm going to hit accept and I'm going to render local, right? So this is the way how you can use path tracing inside Unreal Engine to get crisp and realistic output from Unreal Engine. So I hope this video will help you to understand the very basic of path tracing inside Unreal Engine. And if you think that this video is helping you, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. With this said, this is VFX Vibe signing off. Have a good day.